Hello everybody, my name is Christian Quick, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about putting effects on armors. We'll do armor pieces and even a full armor set. But to do this, let's look up items from Minecraft, and because there is actually an item that does this, and this is called the turtle helmet. Helmet. There we go. And we're going to take a little peeky peek at it, and it says that it's simply just an armor item. And I thought, well, this is odd because there seems to be something wrong here. It doesn't say anything because in armor item it won't actually say anything about the turtleness, and so I'm like, how do I know? How do I know where it's being called? If I look up in armor materials and then I try and look it up, I couldn't find anything. What I had to do was I ended up started looking up so turtle helmet. I go into non-project files and I try and find anything where it could possibly being used. We got recipes, some combat, some of the Gradle yarns, but then right here it says update turtle helmet. So if I click on here and we go right to it, we can see update turtle helmet. It says item stack. This.equip stack is saying the head. So if it's equipped on your head, if your player entity has the item turtle stack on your head and you are submerged in water, give that player the player entity, that's why it says this, water breathing. So this is basically what we need to use. So let's control C. And let's call this, so for our nether so nether brick, I call these perks. So we're going to call it nether brick perk. And this is simply going to implement armor item. Why not? I did something wrong. I have no idea what it was. Anyways, it is extending the armor item as it should, and we know that we're going to need this thing. Now, another thing that we are going to need is that it's talking about the player entity. And so I can't make a brand new player entity, but I do need it to somehow recognize the player. And I also need it to recognize that it's an armor item, and armor items are placed in your inventory. So let's go down the line of going through item, and let's look up the word inventory. And we got something called inventory tick that deals with the stack and your entity. It even has some slot numbers, so this looks like it's got everything that we need. So let's go in our thing, and it appears that this is what we're looking for. So let's go into our inventory tick. And so the first thing that actually you want to do is the super dot inventory tick. And then as soon as I start typing the first variable, it's got all of them. So we'll do that. And then this will make it stop. So if you run a server, this will make it stop crashing. I've had this many times. So basically just do if not world, and then you can do dot is client, and then it'll be purple. Make sure it's not purple by putting an extra set of parentheses, and then we'll put in these brackets in here, and suddenly this is where we want the code. So here is where we have our stuff, Control C, Control V, and then we don't need this anymore. And it seems that there is some stuff that is odd. So get equipped stat. So this is talking about, we took it from a player entity class. So since we still want to purvey the entity, we just have to type in um, entity dot get submerged. No. If I type in entity, you're gonna see that it says it doesn't exist. Because if I do dot get equipped, it just doesn't exist. So we could do get items equipped, but we're not. We're this is there's a better way to prevent this issue. So if I type in as the first code, let's put in if, and then we're going to put in something called entity. So now we are calling this, which is what we want. And let's say instance of, and then let's call player entity player. And then let's bring a new brackets, and now let's shove all this, Control C, backspace, and now let's shove it in here. And now you can see that entity doesn't work, but if we type in player, suddenly that works. We type in player, that works. And we type in player, this works. So now the only thing that we're missing is that this isn't being called. So let's go into our mod items. And you actually only need to put this on one of them because the entire perk is going to talk about all the items. Right now it's just talking about my equipment head. But if I talk about all the other ones, then yeah, even though it's being called in the helmet, it will be used on all of them. So first things first, we have our item stack equals the player head. So instead of calling it an item stack, let's simply call this the head pi piece, right? And so now I'm saying that the headpiece is what we got. So now I would have to say if headpiece dot items, and then we got our turtle helmet. So right now this is what we got. So first let's put in all the pieces. So we got to get item stat, actually Control D. This is much faster. Let's call this the chest piece, Control D. We're going to call this the leg piece, Control D, and then we can call this the foot piece. And then we're going to have to change these to chest, legs, and then feet. And so now that these are here, we can start with the first one. So basically, do I want it to player submerged in water? No. So we're just gonna get rid of that. So basically, if I have, let's say, get rid of this too, mod items dot, and then we're gonna say the nether brick helmet. This now says that if I have the nether brick helmet on, I will now get the water breathing. Do I want water breathing? No. Let's change this to, let's say resistance. Just regular resistance. And that's pretty good. But this is only when we wear the helmet. If I simply do this, meaning or, and then I can say chest piece dot is of mod items dot, and then we can do the chest plate. So now if I wear a helmet or a chest plate, it'll give me the resistance. So now we can add another one. So if I say or, and then let's just copy the piece part. Control, like, actually, let's copy from here. Let's see if this is smart. Control C. All right, so now let's call the leg piece. Control V, and then we'll call this the boots. And then I think you just need an extra one here. Oh, I said boots. You want leg for leg. Leggings. And then last one, let's, after every single one of these, let's put one of these on here. This way we can read it just a little bit better. And then from here we can Control C. Okay, I don't care. Foot piece dot is of, and then we can do mod items dot boots, and then I'll put it here because it wasn't letting me. All right, so here are all the pieces, and then putting this together, this is just saying if, in the first statement, if I have a headpiece or a chest plate or a legging or a boot, it's going to give me resistance for this 200 would be for 10 seconds, and then we got 0. And then we can make this a little bit more complicated. So what if I want two pieces? So if I say if, right? Actually, let's copy this whole thing because it'll make it slightly easier. So now we're saying if headpiece is of this, and then in between this or, we're going to write and then we're going to want this right here, the chest plate. Control C. So this is saying if I have my headpiece is of the helmet and my chest piece is of the chest plate, let's make the amplifier increase by 1. So now that we now have two pieces, it'll increase it. But now we're going to need to make all the other ones. So there, for the headpiece, let's make Control Control C, Control V, and then we'll do this. All right, and the reason why this is saying that it's because it's repeated. So now we have our helmet and chest plate, and then we're gonna have to make sure that we change this chest piece here to leg piece, and then we're gonna call this leggings. All right, and then the last one, Control D. So if we have a head piece, and then this one would be, make sure that this would be foot piece, and that this would be boots. So now, if we have a helmet and a chest plate, a helmet and leggings, helmet and boots, we are all good to go. We will get that second one. So now, when we do the Control D, if I simply say I want this to be a chest piece, and we don't want to do head piece because we already have head piece, chest piece, so we'd just be repeating code. And so once we go forward with something, we don't need to go back. So we got your head and shoulders. So your head is covered. Anything to do with your head is fine. Now we just need your chest plate, and so we need your chest plate and not chest plate, because that would make sense. You still need to do your chest plate and your legs. Make sure that you change this chest plate. And then here we would do leggings. And then lastly, you would want, for your other chest plate, you would want to stop with your boots. And the last one we haven't touched would be simply if you have a leg piece on, and your leg piece would be your leggings, and then your leg pieces of boots. So if I just kind of separate this for a second so we can take a look at it. These, and then we don't need this at all. Actually, we don't need covering up to here. And then we'll just add it. So basically, if you have a helmet and a chest plate, helmet and leggings, your helmet and your boots, your chest plate and leggings, your chest plate and boots, and your leggings and boots, that is every kind of combination that you could possibly have to have two pieces of armor on. So we're basically saying in this whole thing together, so if I just kind of munch it up together, that basically, if I have one piece of armor, I will have the level 1 because amplifier starts at 0. While if I have two pieces on, that I will need, I will get level on. Or, yeah, level 2 amplifier 1. Now, if you think that this would get, because this one has 4 and this one has 6, now, if you think this one with 3 pieces of armor is really complicated, nah, it goes right back down to 4, because now we're putting an exception. If you don't have a helmet, if you don't have a chest plate, if you don't have leggings, if you don't have boots, so it looks like to me like it's going to get a little bit easier, but we're going to have to write it a little bit longer. The reason why you don't want to say if you don't have the helmet is because that would be like literally anything else. So we're going to have to specifically write all the ones that we will have. So for here, having 3 pieces, let's to pause confusion, let's get rid of all this so let's get rid of all this middle code, and then let's try and go over it. So let's start with if I don't have my helmet. So let's go call it chest piece, and then we'll say here would be your chest plate, and then here we will call leg piece, which will be your leggings, and if I have my foot piece, which dot is of mod items dot boots. So basically, if I don't have my helmet on, so now we are going to have to, if I have a helmet, so let's change. Let's get rid of this right here, and let's write headpiece dot helmet, because we don't want the chest plate. And then we're gonna write one more, but so we have this, and then we're gonna put instead of legs, so we're gonna get rid of the leg part, so chest piece, and we're gonna make sure that we replace this with the chest plate. So now if we have our helmet on, our chest plate, and our boots, we do not have the leggings. And then the last one, if we do not have our boots on. So this would be if we have our, let's say let's get rid of this. And then let's put on our helmet and chest from the beginning here. Control C, and then Control V. So now this is saying if I have a helmet, a chest plate, and leggings on, and no boots, then it's going to give me, let's make this 2, and that is that. And then lastly, the probably the easiest one of them all, Control, actually we can just copy this one up here, Control C, Control V, and so this would be if the headpiece is this, and instead of saying or, we want to say and. So if I have my helmet and my chest plate and my leggings and my boots, then it will give us amplifier 3, which is level 4 resistance. So we can dabble all this together. So you can see this is one long, massive code. Um, and just one more thing I want to mention. Outside of your instance for the player, you can do this where you could literally say player dot add status effect. Let's just add it from here. Control C, Control V. Now, see how this works? Let's do let's do instant health. Um, just for fun. And then we're gonna set this to 209, and then we're gonna set this to amplifier 4. Actually, no, let's do 9. There's a reason. So I'm gonna show you what this is gonna do. But with that in mind, our nether brick is being called. So let's take a look at how everything is. Actually, I think this is, for example purposes, I think this is way too high. Let's turn all of these into 60, which is 3 seconds. The reason is because it'll be really hard to show you otherwise. But now, let's take a look at what we just did in this massive code. Alright, welcome back to our beautiful Minecraft world, and I'm going to jump off a building. So if I jump off the building, bam, and then you saw how I instantly got healed. This is because our instant health at 10 stays at 10, will always be 10, because that thing is that it's not checking for, it doesn't have an instance. It's basically saying instance.player of. I'm a player, but since there is literally nothing else that it needs, I will always have this. It'll always regenerate, or it's just infinite because I am a player. As long as I'm a player, this will apply. And so this is a little extreme, but I'll keep it in there just for fun. If there's an example where I feel like I need to get hurt later, I'll just take it off for a moment. But I like having it there. When it comes to the helmet, notice how I made it 209, and see how the 10's not moving? But if I look at this, oh, I guess this one's not moving either. Hmm. Sometimes if you make them exact, they'll start being jagged, but you can see how it says resistance 2. If I take this off, it's going to say 1, 0, and then, oh, now I have regular resistance. If I put on my leggings, it's got 2. If I put on my boots, now I have resistance 3. But then as soon as I take off my, let's say I take them both off, keep my helmet, 1, and that's going to say resistance 2, and then it goes back to 1, because it has to check every quick little second. And then if I wear the full set of armor, I have resistance 4, it'll remain at resistance 4 until, if my leggings break, then it'll go down to 3, and then I get rid of my helmet, and then it'll be 2. So that is one of the ways that, uh-oh, this just says normal resistance. It looks like we forgot something. So let's take a look. We got our chest plate and our boots. Alright, here is that code. So, chest plate, leg piece, boots. That's a problem. This right here needs to be boots. So, geez. Oh, that's why, because it's called foot piece. So it needs to be whatever. Make sure that whatever it is, so let's just kind of quickly go over through them. So our headpiece is helmet, chest is chest, leg is leg, foot is boot. And then if you make sure that all of them, head to head, leg to leg, you just got to quickly go through all of them. It's a little tedious, but the thing is, it's not going to tell you that something is wrong. Um, so you just got to make sure that they're all right. Leg piece up. There's another one. This one's gotta say foot piece. So leg to leg, foot to boot. Perfect. So it is all perfectly there. Just so that we can clear this out of the way, I'm just gonna clear this for a second. But yeah, this is saying like what I was saying earlier. Entity instance of player. I'm always a player, so this will always be there. Sometimes your seconds will just be like they'll like fidget, like they'll just be like shaking the number because it wants to change but can't. To stop it from doing that, just set this to a random, not a random, but like in the middle. Because remember, it does every 20. So putting it at 9, just usually it always stops that. Putting this back, that is it. That is the entire armor set, and well, I guess that's gonna finish the video. We did it all with just one massive, one massive method. So power of methods is quite strong. I'm not too sure what ambient is. Show particles. If you want the particles to be showing all up in your face, go ahead and set this to true. And then show icon. That is talking about how like in the top right corner of your screen, you'll like usually up here it'll tell you where your what effects you have. You can set that to false if you don't want to see it. So if you do that, you'll surprise people if you have your particles off and that off. Um, that they just have a hard time dying. You can also set your resistance to like 255 and regeneration 255, and you can't die. It well, it'd be really hard to. But anyways, that is gonna be all for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado,